all of my friends suggested only one topic,
right,
which is relationships.
Hmm.
The benching irukattum, ikka irukattum, orbiting, eclipsing. There are so many terms right now that people somewhere or the other feel obligated to try at least one thing out of them.
sort of ஒரு ரிஜெக்ஷனுக்கு பயங்கர ஒரு ஃபியர். ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு பி ரிஜெக்டட், ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு ரிஜெக்ட் யூ, ஐ வாண்ட் யூ, லெட்ஸ் ஃபிகர் இட் அவுட். சின்ன வயசுலேருந்து கல்ச்சரலி ஸ்பீக்கிங் எல்லாமே நமக்கு. And single child, this is even more ஒரு challenge I see in my practice.
See a lot of couples who are in love but who don't label their relationship. இல்ல நாங்க வந்து ஒரு committed relationshipல இருக்கோம், he is my boyfriend, she is my girlfriend அப்படின்ற அளவுக்கு people don't label it that much right now. Why do you think that is happening?
ஏன் ஆப்ஷன்ஸ்லாம் கட் அவுட் ஆயிடுது அப்படின்ற ஒரு ஃபியர் அவங்களுக்கு வருது. This confusion is they don't know. And when you try to make them understand or try to get an answer out of them, they'll confuse you. In my practice, I had this client who came up to me and said, my girlfriend cheated on me. I was like, okay, so can you give me a little detail? Right. He goes on to say, I was in a casual relationship. Okay, so first and foremost, casual na anga commitment kadayadu. Casual relationship na that doesn't make her as your girlfriend. So casual cheating doesn't happen. It is on a whole very contradicting.
Of all of these modern relationship dynamics, is there something that's quite harmful for us emotionally? In the Varnamayiram film la neenga paathirundinga, after a breakup, Surya goes into deep down wherein he consumes a lot of drug, and adula irundha avaru thiruppi varappo he goes gymming and then he gets into the Indian army. And madri vande there's this term called breakup glow.
My relationship shouldn't be demanding.
Right.
You work la mudistiya, talk to me. I would love to talk to you. Yes, but as soon as your work is over, 5 to 8 talk to me. Okay, right? Maybe your partner needs quality time.
Okay, and talking about this, I saw an interview wherein a Bollywood actor would say love is work. Do you agree to that statement? You have to put in a lot of work to that. Please.
Okay, my personal opinion is love is like breathing.
Is there a different way that men and women perceive breakup?
Absolutely.
It's even more complicated because அவங்க இல்லாத ஒரு ஸ்பேஸ் பார்க்கறதுங்கிறது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமா இருக்குல்ல. Do you think social media complicates breakup?
It complicates to a different level.
People go back to their exes despite knowing the relationship did not work, or despite knowing that he's not the right guy or right girl for you. Let's take the Reema Sin's character from Vallavan, that was considered very toxic back then. But ippo in the, let's take the characters from Arjun Reddy, or let's take the Karthi's character from Carter Velide, they all sound very heroic. Why is there a shift from the media perspective, and how does it influence people?
Just imagine an apple tree, that is the source, parents is our source. Adula vara apple dhaan nammo. Apple மரத்துல இருந்து கீழே விழுது அப்படின்னா it may go few feet away from the tree. கிலோமீட்டர் கணக்கா தள்ளி போகணும்னு எதிர்பார்க்கலாம், but that's not the case. So we cannot be so different from our parents.
Hello all, I'm Hashwini and welcome to another episode of Bear With Me. Here with us we have Mr. Nithya Priyan, who is a psychotherapist and also an applied psychologist. So I have known him for like the past 6 or 7 months since we met through a panel, and I had no other person in my mind other than him to talk about relationships. So நான் வந்து பாட்காஸ்ட்க்கு கூப்பிடுறப்போ, if I had some people in my mind during the initial days, Nithya Priyan was one of them. Because எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச male psychologistல one of the psychologists is you. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி also I was talking to Jagadish about this. I know only 7 or 8 male psychologists in Chennai. So I still remember when we met during a panel discussion, you said both of us were quite little bit nervous. அப்போ you said என்ன கேள்வி கேட்பாங்க எனக்கு தெரியலன்னா எனக்கு தெரியலன்னு சொல்லிடுவாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ரொம்ப ஈஸியாக நீங்கள் சொல்லிட்டீங்க. But there are a lot of people online who doesn't do it, no? அவங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது தெரியல அப்படின்னா கூட they say whatever they practice and they say that's the right way to deal with it. So what do you feel about that?
Okay, so it is okay being honest, and it's sort of we all give examples out of our lived experience la. and it doesn't mean என்னோட lived experience will make up to someone else. And தெரியாதுன்னு சொன்னா it is always the safest thing என்றது I feel. Same with, you know, with referrals. I was having a conversation with Jagadish. We were talking that இப்போ people have so much challenge referring clients. See, not everyone is compatible, is a very proper compatible client for you. எனக்கு செட் ஆகலை ஒர்க் ஆகலைன்னா it is always better to refer. இல்லை நான் ஏன் ரெஃபர் பண்ணோம், ரெஃபர் பண்ணால் எனக்கு கிளைண்ட்டே போதே அப்படின்னு வந்தால் இட்ஸ் சார்ட் ஆஃப் டசன்ட் சிட் வெல். ஸோ இட் இஸ் ஆல்வேஸ் பெட்டர் டு நோ வாட் வி நோ அண்ட் வாட் வி டோன்ட் நோ. ஸோ yeah.
So when I was planning to do this podcast, all of my friends suggested only one topic.
Right.
Which is relationships. Relationships in adults.
Yeah.
How to deal with it and what are the other relationships. Because everybody are very curious about the topic right now. What is happening. There are like lot of vocabularies, right, with respect to relationships. The benching ikka orbiting, eclipsing. There are so many terms right now that people somewhere or the other feel obligated to try at least one thing out of them. India. So everybody was suggesting why not you do a topic on romantic relationships. Right. So I still remember when we went for the panel, you were one of the very wise people who spoke about romantic relationships. Don't laugh. Right. Okay, which is why I wanted you to be a part of this. But do you see a difference in romantic relationships in this generation compared to how our parents or how our grandparents were? Because when our grandparents were into a relationship, they did not give up very easily, right? They had a very long endurance, and then come to our parents wherein they are very compromising. Now, is there a difference between how people deal with romantic relationships in different generations?
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, grandparents most of endurance adhigama irundhathu, and with our parents it was more of compromise. And at present modern relationship lo, one thing that I see is it's about exploring. I want to know about myself and I also want to know about you. And when I'm unable to figure you out, I feel there's a challenge. And endurance or compromise, exploring ellame okay. One challenge is idhila sort of people fail in relationship. They easily give up abindra mari enakku thonadhu. Say I have a lot of options. I don't have to stick with one. I can always find my compatible partner. So எனக்கு இவ்வளோ ஆப்ஷன் இருக்கிறப்போ sort of sticking on, I don't like இதில் தான் இந்த பெஞ்சிங் ஆர் எனி சார்ட் ஆஃப் திங் கம்ஸ் இன். ஒரு ட்ரெடிஷ்னல் ஓ ஐ லைக் யூ, யூ லைக் மீ, லெட்ஸ் கோ ஆன் அ டேட், லெட்ஸ் ஃபிகர் இட் அவுட், செட் ஆகலையா லெட்ஸ் மூவ் இன் ஆர் வேஸ்ன்றது நடக்க மாட்டேங்குது. சார்ட் ஆஃப் ஒரு ரிஜெக்ஷனுக்கு பயங்கர ஒரு ஃபியர். ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு பி ரிஜெக்டட், ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு ரிஜெக்ட் யூ, ஐ வாண்ட் யூ, லெட்ஸ் ஃபிகர் இட் அவுட். அண்ட் தட்ஸ் வென் திஸ் ஒரு ப்ராப்பர் ஒரு நேம் தராமல் ஒரு ப்ராப்பராக ஒரு சார்ட் ஆஃப் ஒரு கமிட்மெண்ட் இல்லையோ. When people come up, they'll say I'm in a casual relationship or I'm in a situationship. What do you need from it? Abdin keta, I want to be with this person. Okay. And what do they want? They also want to be with me. So you both are dating. Illa kadayadu, we are open to see other people. Okay, அதை நீங்கள் பண்ணுறீங்களா? இல்லை அதை பண்ணால் இவன் என்னை விட்டு போயிடுவான், நான் அவனை விட்டு போயிடுவேன்ற ஃபியர் வருது. ஸோ சார்ட் ஆஃப் கண்டிஷனிங்கை நம்ம மறந்துடுறோமோ. You know, conditioning is so deep rooted in us. சின்ன வயசுலேருந்து கல்ச்சரலி ஸ்பீக்கிங் எல்லாமே நமக்கு. அண்ட் சிங்கிள் சைல்டில் திஸ் இஸ் ஈவன் மோர் ஒரு சேலஞ்ச் ஐ சி இன் மை ப்ராக்டிஸ். சார்ட் ஆஃப் இது என்னது, இன்னும் இது என் ஃபோனு, என் பொம்மை இப்படியே வளர்ந்துட்டு ஒன்ஸ் தே பார்ட்னர்னு வரப்போ இட் இஸ் ஸோ ஹார்ட் ஃபார் தெம் டு அக்செப்ட். பட் சார்ட் ஆஃப் ஒரு வெஸ்டர்ன் கான்செப்ட் உள்ள வருது. திஸ் இஸ் நைஸ், வீ கேன் ஹாவ் ஃபன், யூனோ, நோ கமிட்மெண்ட் எல்லாமே சொன்னாலும் the sort of push and pull is very high. Right. Anxious, avoidant ரொம்ப அதிகமாகுதோ அப்படின்றது I feel.
Okay. As you've said, I see a lot of couples who are in love but who don't label their relationship. இல்லை நாங்கள் வந்து ஒரு committed relationshipல இருக்கோம், he is my boyfriend, she is my girlfriend அப்படின்ற அளவுக்கு people don't label it that much right now. Why do you think that is happening?
One thing is they are very scared to do it. நான் பண்ணிட்டா என்ன ஆகிடும், ஐ எம் பவுண்ட் டு ஒன், என் ஆப்ஷன்ஸ்லாம் கட் அவுட் ஆகிடுது அப்படின்ற ஒரு ஃபியர் அவங்களுக்கு வருது. சரி, ஓகே, யூ டோன்ட் ஹாவ் ஆப்ஷன்ஸ், ஸோ வாட் டு யூ கால் திஸ்னு கேட்டால் தேர் அகெயின் கன்ஃபியூஸ்ட். திஸ் கன்ஃபியூஷன் இஸ் தே டோன்ட் நோ. And when you try to make them understand or try to get an answer out of them, they'll confuse you. It's like எனக்கு இந்த person வேணும், I want to be with them. Okay, I don't want this person to see anyone else. அதுவும் ஓகே, பட் ஆனால் we don't name it. And they are saying this at the same time they also say எனக்கு இவங்க தான் வேணும்னு இருந்தாலும் அந்த ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்போட நேம் கேட்டிங்கன்னா சிச்சுவேஷன்ஷிப்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, கேஷுவல்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. We see, in my practice I had this client who came up to me and said my girlfriend cheated on me. I was like, okay, so can you give me little detail? He goes on to say I was in a casual relationship. Okay, so first and foremost casual na anga commitment e kedayadu. Casual relationship na that doesn't make her as your girlfriend. So casual cheating endradhu doesn't happen. It is on a whole very contradicting. But that is how things are.
Can you just tell people what is the difference between casual relationship and the relationship with commitment?
Okay, casual relationship there is no strings attached. We hang out, like let it be like emotional validation ah irukkom illa some sort of or physical validation ah irukkom. This happens in this thing, right? And or a traditional relationship nu paatha committed or proper commitment nu irukum. Like I am with this person and this person is with me, we don't see anyone else. Sort of we are dating to marry ndradhu kedayadu, we are in a relationship. So yeah.
Okay, out of all of these modern relationship dynamics, is there something that's quite harmful for us emotionally?
Okay, any sort of this situationship, or if you breadcrumbing and benching or situationships, இது எல்லாமே sort of has a great impact on self-worth.
Right.
This sort of push and pull, எனக்கு இந்த பர்சன் தான் எனக்கு இருப்பாங்களா இல்லை எனக்கு இதான் ஆயிடுமா, பிரேக்கப் ஆயிடுமா, sort of uncertaintyலே they are operating and there is so much fear that is happening and this anxiety-ன்றது they can't sit with it and they try to fix it னு பார்த்தா கிடையாது. They try to sort of fix it with some other one. When they go to someone else and again it's sort of a loop. They're going into loops and they're unable to figure it out and it's getting worse and worse. So
in the relationships Anna, most if you ask them why do you want a casual relationship, why don't you choose something with a commitment, one answer they give is I've got an attachment issue, adunala I would want a partner without any commitment அப்படினு சொல்றாங்க. If people are so aware of whatever they're going through, why don't people come and ask for help?
Okay, that's a very beautiful question. I always say this, awareness doesn't mean action. If you take our society, physical healthக்கு நம்ம அவ்வளோ இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுக்குறோம். 20 minutes minimum ஒரு இன்டென்ஸ் ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்ணணுன்றது எவ்ரிஒன் நோஸ். அவ்வளோ ஜிம் இருக்கு நம்ம ஊரில், எல்லாரும் ஜிம்முக்கு போகிறாங்களா அப்படின்னு பார்த்தா கிடையாது. We go, we pay, but we don't go there, right? We don't work out. So something very similar. நமக்கு அவேர்னஸ் இருந்தால் நம்ம ஆக்ஷன் எடுப்போன்றது கிடையாது. They are very much aware. They don't want to take the action. And that itself is a material that you can work on. என்னால ஒர்க் பண்ண முடியல, something is stopping me, right? They don't see that as a challenge. They sort of take it as this is what I am and I'm holding myself, I'm embracing it. And okay, you're embracing it, are you secure about that thought nu pata? They are not. No, that is again a problem. Would you like to work on it? No, I don't want to work on it. So yeah.
Okay, and talking about all of these relationships, one thing that's very commonly asked on the question poll எல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா about rebound. Okay, இப்போ வந்து most of the rebounds become situationships இல்லையா? So are rebounds really healthy?
Rebound, technically speaking, it is not healthy for you as long as you are conscious. நான் என்ன பண்றேன்னு எனக்கு தெரியும், I'm just seeing this person for some time அப்படின்றது okay. But again, reboundல people catch feelings. You can't control your feelings is one. And sort of நான் ஒரு person கிட்ட இருந்து வெளியே வந்தேன், I want to heal and you're sort of going under another person.
Without sitting with your feelings.
And is it really helping you ன்னு பார்த்தா no. It's sort of escapismக்கு நான் rebound யூஸ் பண்றேன் அப்படின்னா it's not healthy. It won't help you at all. You're trying to figure out, okay, I want to know what is my type or I want to sit with myself. That helps.
So எனக்கு இப்போ ரீபவுண்ட் போக வேண்டாம், பட் there's always this empty space. இப்போ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் நான் 7 to 9 என்னோட பாய் ஃப்ரெண்டோட பேசுவேன். இப்போ 7 to 9 வந்தது அப்படின்னா எனக்கு இப்போ அந்த டைம்ல என் பாய் ஃப்ரெண்ட் இல்லாமல் எனக்கு என்ன பண்ணணும்னு தெரியல அப்படின்னு இருக்கிறவங்க how can they emotionally cope up without going for a rebound? And the time how can they help themselves?
Okay, so it's very hard to do it actually because நம்ம ஒரு routine போயிட்டோம் அப்படின்னா we're so fixated on it. So you have to find a healthy sort of coping, not coping, sort of a healthy mechanism to help it. You can start journaling. You can start, I would suggest clients to sit with themselves.
Right.
During a breakup or after a breakup, they sort of have anxiety. And they ask me, நான் என்ன பண்றது, எனக்கு இந்த ஃபீலிங் வேண்டாம், I don't want to do it, deal with it. The more you try to suppress it, the more it's going to chase you.
Right.
நீங்க விக்ரம் வேதா படம் பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா? ஸோ அதில் மேடி வில் டாக் டு சேதுபதி. அண்ட் அதில் ஒரு டைலாக் வரும், விஜய் சேதுபதி சொல்வார், எங்கள் ஊரில் ஒருத்தன் இருட்டில் ஒரு பொருளை தொலைச்சிட்டு வெளிச்சத்தில் தேடிட்டு இருந்தான். இருட்டில் தொலைச்ச பொருளை ஏன்டா வெளிச்சத்தில் தேடுற அப்படின்னு கேட்டால், அங்கே இருட்டாக இருக்குது, எனக்கு கஷ்டமாக இருக்குது, நான் வெளிச்சத்தில் தேடுறேன். சம்திங் வெரி சிமிலர். Any sort of uncomfortable thing happens or a trauma happens, எனக்கு அதை பற்றி டீல் பண்ண வேணாம், நான் அதை பார்க்க வேணாம், அதிலிருந்து நான் வெளியே வரணும் அப்படின்னா unfortunately it's not possible.
Right.
We have to go back, sit with it, deal with it. With professional help, it goes very beautifully. If not, it is obviously little challenging, I would say.
Okay. And right now there's a shift, right? இப்போ ஆஃப்லைனில் நான் போய் ஒருத்தரை பார்த்து பேசி I fall in a relationship, அதெல்லாம் தாண்டி I meet somebody online. ஆன்லைனில் I speak for hours together. But I don't want to go and meet that person immediately. எனக்கு வந்து அட்லீஸ்ட் எனக்கு ஒரு 3 months 4 months நான் அவங்களோட பேசிகிட்டே இருக்கணும். Then they decide they don't want to meet. அந்த மாதிரி why are people bored, so they install all of these apps and talk to somebody, because most of them they fear going out and meeting somebody in person, so online they talk to a lot of people. So what do you think about that?
Okay, so online it sort of gives me comfort and sort of a safety for me.
Right.
I can pretend. It's sort of a mask for me. Correct. Right? 80% of our communication is non-verbal. 20% தான் நம்ம பேசிட்டு இருக்கோம். And we think இதிலே we fix everything. No way it is possible. Love languagesனு இருக்கு, cues இருக்கு. Over text I can sit here and let's say ஏதோ ஒரு argument நடக்குது அப்படின்னா, I might be crying, I might not cry. I can just text you crying emoji and say I feel very bad, I feel very sad. And I can pretend to be someone.
Right.
Which I am not, and it is very comforting for me, right? Sort of everyone wants to live like someone else la.
Correct.
I want to be like this particular or a hero, or I want to be like this celebrity. We sort of fascinated. So I can become that. நான் இந்த மாதிரி I am very social or whatever it is, I'm very funny and I can go ask ChatGPT for jokes, copy paste it. And it works.
Correct.
Right. And you're not going to know unless and until we meet.
Yeah.
And meeting, they have a lot of challenge. It could be anxiety or it could be fear. Like, அவங்க என்ன நினைச்சிருவாங்க, ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட்டாக இருக்கலாம், இல்லைனா fear of rejection இருக்கலாம், which sort of holds them to not meet them. At the same time, I can pretend and it is very comforting. I feel very good. I feel very safe and I can do it. So
Yeah, and while I was talking about Rebound, in the Varnamayiram film, after a breakup, Surya goes into deep down wherein he consumes a lot of drug, and adilirundha avaru thiruppi varappo he goes gymming and then he gets into the Indian army. And the madri there's this term called breakup glow. Okay, breakup kapra enakku vara glow, adu most of the men go gymming and most of the women go cut their hair, change their appearance. In the madri there are a lot of things that people try to cope up with. Is it really healthy?
Is it healthy? I wouldn't say it is healthy. Breakup glow is a real thing. ஏன் நடக்குது அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, because breakup அப்புறம் most people start to think about themselves. Sort of self love kicks in.
Right.
So they concentrate on நான் இத்தனை நாள் என்ன பண்ணேன் என்ன பண்ணல. They sort of pick up a routine to fix it, right? So it helps. Sort of movies like it is glorified. And let's take the Varnamayiram example, right? He would go do some drugs and he'll have a very bad past. He will come out and then he'll get into another relationship. That is much better. And அந்த healing இல்லாம ஒரு space தராம I am not sitting and then I'm jumping into another one அப்படின்னா it never helps.
Okay. And talking about all of this, I hear a lot of people say we are taking a break from the relationship அப்படின்னா. Is a break really a break? I mean, if you really like somebody, do you think that break is necessary?
I think giving space is always okay.
Correct.
Because we're all humans. ரொம்ப கூடவே இருந்தா இல்லைன்னா ரொம்ப பிரச்சனை அதிகமாயிட்டே இருக்கு, மிஸ்கம்யூனிகேஷன் ரொம்ப அதிகமாக இருக்கு, இல்லை பேர்ன் அவுட், இட் ரியலி ஹேப்பன்ஸ் இன் அ ரிலேஷன்ஷிப். and it is okay to take a break as long as they are conscious about it. எனக்கு மட்டும் பிரேக் வேணும், என் பார்ட்னருக்கு வேண்டாம் அப்படின்னா I will heal while the other person sort of suffers. They'll be uncertain, என்னாச்சு அது. This like proper communication is very much needed. At the same time, taking a break when we know that the love is still there, it works. எனக்கு லவ்வே இல்லை, ஐ எம் ஃபாலிங் அவுட் ஆஃப் லவ் அண்ட் ஐம் டேக்கிங் அ பிரேக் டு ஃபிகர் இட் அவுட் அப்படின்னா மோஸ்ட் ப்ராபப்ளி ஐம் கோனா கோ மோர் டீப்பர் இன் டு அ தாட் ஆஃப் I don't like this person, and it's not gonna work out, and I'll go in this way, and the other person would be thinking, okay, he's gonna come back and we're gonna fall in love and be happily ever after. That's not gonna happen. So communicating what you want is very much important in a break.
Do you think not giving personal space to each other in a relationship is also a reason why people would want a break in the middle of the relationship?
There is a very high chance personal space is very much needed.
Correct.
For example, let's say I'm doing a 9 to 5. 9 to 5 mudichittu I'm coming back home, I want to sit with myself. My relationship shouldn't be demanding.
Right.
Nee work la irundhu mudichittiya, talk to me. I would love to talk to you, yes, but as soon as your work is over, 5 to 8 talk to me. Okay, right? Fight. Maybe your partner needs quality time, yes, but you have to sort of set a boundary.
Correct.
Say no. Like if you keep doing it, you'll feel burnout. என்னடா அது sort of like ஒரு கடமைக்குன்னு பண்ற மாதிரி ஆயிடும். நான் பேசியே ஆகணும்.
Work, no?
Yeah, and it's like நான் பேசியே ஆகணும். It's very demanding for the person, and they feel நான் ஏன் பண்ணணும், நான் தான் பண்றேன். All these things happens. Taking a break and personal space is very needed with communication, proper communication. And people think that communication is now or vishayam sonna it is communicating. Not that. Communication happens when I say something, you receive it. I have to make sure you receive it.
Yeah, correct.
If not, I don't know what is happening to you la. Na solliten, you know, I'm sending you a text.
Solradhu en kadama appdi.
Yeah, I'm sending you a text. What if the text was not received? And I'm waiting, okay, Ashwini will turn up for the interview. And then you didn't. Because you are telling me, oh, you never confirmed. I texted you. You know, in my mind I did. So something like that.
Okay, and talking about this, I saw an interview wherein a Bollywood actor would say, love is work. Do you agree to that statement? You have to put in a lot of work to that. Please.
Okay, my personal opinion is love is like breathing. You don't see it as like work, right? It's like you sort of live with it. And illa na adu oru work ah paakano appadina, it's like okay, sort of very conscious ah pandra maari irukum. And when you do certain things consciously, the other person might not feel comfortable receiving it. Especially if you take men are physical and men are solution oriented, women are emotional. And any problem that comes, a woman asks, a man would give a solution.
Right.
They don't want that. No one wants that. They just want you to listen, right? If they want a solution, they will ask you, help me out, and then do. And nee idha pannave maatra, you're not giving me proper attention, or you're not getting me flowers, right? For example. And சரி ஓகே நான் வாங்கி தரேன், உடனே வாங்கி கொடுத்தா they'll feel நான் கேட்டு பண்ணது வேணாம். Right? So it's sort of lot of unlearning and learning. When you do it, it's sort of living rather than ஒரு work பார்க்காம.
Okay. As you said right now, I just wanted to ask you this question. Is there a different way that men and women perceive breakup?
Absolutely. I think women perceive or women get into a breakup emotionally first and then sort of voice it out. And when a woman voices out, appoda when the man will realize, oh, you breakup. We are so good. What are you talking about? Like, I can't take this. You can't do this to me. And she would be telling, I've been telling this to you for a long time. Na 3 months ah solran, 6 months ah solran, this is not happening. He will be like, sollave illeye. So, you know, women feel the breakup first and then they process it, and emotional breakup nadandadukku appuram da oru proper oru verbal thing happens. For us, that's when man realizes, oh, you break up. And then he starts. And sitting with his feeling is very much challenging because society sort of says, azhakudadu, you're not supposed to feel, man up. And all this conditioning plays a major role. So he doesn't know what to do with his feeling. இதை நான் எங்கே எடுத்துகிட்டு போய் வைப்பேன், யார்கிட்ட சொல்லுவேன், என்ன பண்ணட்டும், ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் சர்க்கிள்கிட்ட சொன்னால் அதெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனை இல்லை, வேற யாரோ ஒரு பார்ட்னர் கிடைப்பாங்க.
Correct.
So it's very challenging. So the process, even if you take the time, right, women sort of take much different timeline than men. Breakup அப்புறம் men அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் ப்ராசஸ் பண்ணவே ஆரம்பிப்பாங்க. The women has already processed it, put it out, and then she started to work on herself. அப்பதான் man starts to realize, ஐயோ எனக்கு breakup ஆயிடுச்சு, அடுத்து நான் என்ன பண்ணணும்.
Slowly hits them, no?
Yeah. So
okay, and talking about all of this, coming out of breakup is always a huge challenge, right? Do you think social media, is very easy for me to go and stalk my ex, no? Do you think that makes the process even more complicated because அவங்க இல்லாத ஒரு ஸ்பேஸ் பார்க்கறதுங்கிறது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமா இருக்குல்ல? Do you think social media complicates breakup?
It complicates to a different level. See, no one likes to see your partner or someone who hurted you.
Yeah, right.
ஒரு 2 பேர் இருக்காங்க, பிஸ்னஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க, and this person cheated the other one, right? And then they are like highly successful. Obviously this person don't like to see them.
Correct.
And எங்க பார்த்தாலும் கடுப்பாகும்.
Right.
இல்லைனா ஏதாவது ஒரு ஃபோட்டோ பார்க்குறாங்க, இல்லைனா வெளியே எங்கேயோ பார்க்குறாங்க. This very intense feeling comes. How can this happen? And when you keep on checking on them, you're not working on yourself. You know, if this is your trauma and this is you, as long you are associated, it is not going to help you.
Correct.
The more you're dissociated from it, that's when you will start thinking. You'll be with the feeling for a very long time, and that is very real for you, and you will be there.
Yeah.
And these triggers will sort of put you even more deep. Once you move out, you start thinking, it helps you to heal much better.
And I have some of my friends who tend to go back to their exes again and again. இல்ல நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி இப்போ there's a lot of rejection. Every time they go back again, they come with a rejection. They sit, they cry, and then again it's like a vicious cycle. They go, they get hurt, come back, cry, go, get hurt, come back crying. So why do you think people go back to their exes despite knowing the relationship did not work, or despite knowing that he's not the right guy or right girl for you?
Right. So being in a relationship, you emotionally gain a lot of things. Even physically, there's a lot of things that you gain, right? So validation arkatom, illana you feel heard, you have someone you can talk to, so you get into a routine, and it's very comforting. Adu or toxic relationship irundha kuda, it will have certain good moments there, and they sort of stick on to it.
Okay.
And mostly our relationship is modeled by our childhood. What is our childhood experience? So நம்ம அதை பார்த்து தான் மாடலே பண்ணுறோம். And for your mind, known is pleasure, unknown is fear. So what is known for you, you will always go for it. Subconsciously, that is what will happen. Conscious mindக்கு தெரியும் எனக்கு இது வேண்டாம், but that's what you are used to, right? So you will keep on going. Sort of, you know, the connection between prefrontal cortex and your amygdala.
Correct.
And it sort of ஒரு neural pathway create ஆயிடுச்சு அப்படின்னா it stays. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when people don't get a proper closure, even if they get a closure, they move on to another relationship, they are married and it's going good. அந்த ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பில் ஏதாவது பிரச்சனை ஆகுது, ஏதோ ஒரு சண்டை வருது அப்படின்னு வரப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பர்சன் they would call would be their ex. Because the neural pathway is still there. You've been with this person for so long, and there is so much connect that has happened. It is known for you. Unknown sort of creates uncertainty, fear. So
which is also why people choose the same kind of people that they were in relationship previously.
At the end of the day, we model our parents, what we see growing up. And you know, so you can't get out of the pattern unless and until you work on it, becoming conscious. More of எனக்கு ஏன் இந்த மாதிரி பர்சன் வராங்க, இந்த பர்சன் தப்பு அப்படின்றத விட start working on yourself. Where am I missing out? I want a perfect partner ல இருந்து am I a perfect partner? That helps you to sit with yourself and figure things out.
Okay. Now, being active on social media, I see a lot of people say things which are toxic, which are very different. Okay, என் பாய் ஃப்ரெண்ட் இப்போ எனக்கு கால் பண்ணா டாக்ஸிக், எங்கே இருக்குன்னு கேட்டால் டாக்ஸிக், சாப்பிட்டியான்னு ஒரு 3 வாட்டி கேட்டால் டாக்ஸிக் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. வாட் இஸ் டாக்ஸிசிட்டி இன் அ ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்?
ரைட். டாக்ஸிசிட்டின்றது சார்ட் ஆஃப் ஒரு black and whiteல இல்லாம it can also be grey. Gaslighting னு ஒன்று இருக்கு, where they'll question your memory, they'll say you will give someone would say their lived experience, எனக்கு இது நடந்தது, எப்போ நடந்தது, they won't remember because they would have gaslighted it. Manipulation is there, and sort of they will have a silent treatment, பேசாத, or they'll cut off, they'll remove themselves from the space. You did this to me, I won't do this to you.
Correct.
So sort of இது எல்லாமே on a level affects the person, and this is also toxic. This is a material that they have to take it to therapy, work on themselves.
Correct.
So mostly பாத்தீங்கன்னா இது எல்லாமே would come from their childhood. அவங்க பேரண்ட் கிட்ட இருந்து பார்த்துருக்கலாம், இல்லைன்னா அவங்க பேரண்டோட ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்ல பார்த்துருக்கலாம், and they model it. So for them it is okay to do. எங்க வீட்டில் பிரச்சனை அப்படின்னா my mother will be silent to me. So when I have a problem with my partner, I will stay silent. But my partner feels very, anxious. She wants to know என்ன ஆச்சு, communicate, சொன்னாதானே தெரியும், சொன்னாதான் எப்படி தெரியும், அதெல்லாம் சரியாயிடும். So, lot of unlearning is needed.
Okay. And talking about toxicity, one you said we of course model our parents, and the second one that we model is things that we see on media. Illaya appadi irkrappo, let's take movies, let's take the character Neelambri, or let's take the Reema Sen's character from Vallavan, that was considered very toxic back then. But ippo in the, let's take the characters from Arjun Reddy, or let's take the Karthi's character from Kaattru Veliyidai, they all sound very heroic. Why is there a shift from the media perspective, and how does it influence people?
Yeah, it does have a very great impact on the society because they're glorifying it. இது பண்ணா okay, இந்த மாதிரி பண்ணாலும் a woman will come to you. They think okay, இதுதான் உண்மை போல. So which has a very bad impact on youth. And I had a client, I was working with him, and he said how he is inspired by Arjun Reddy. And I asked him like what seems very inspiring with him, and he goes like he's a very rugged person. He's like sort of rebel, and women love someone who is rugged, or women love a rebel. So mostly this is modeled in cinemas now. And if you see psychologically in our DNA, women wants a man who can protect them, safety and security. And man will operate from a space of providing. I have to provide, na வேலைக்கு போகணும், நான் சம்பாதிக்கணும், இந்த ஒரு ஸ்பேஸ்ல தான் they'll operate. This doesn't equal to toxicity. I want someone who can protect me is a very safe thing. It's a very good thought to have. ஆனா I want them to be like rugged, or like அவங்க வந்து 10 பேர் அடிச்சாதான் I will feel safe-ன்றது கிடையாது. விமனுக்கு emotional safety ரொம்ப முக்கியம். Someone who attends to their feeling, who listens, who sort of comforts them. இதுதான் விமனுக்கு வேணும். ஆனா அதை மேன் எப்படி பர்சீவ் பண்றாங்க அப்படின்னா, I should hit the gym, I should like I have to protect my women. So women want someone who cares for them, who attends to their need, and அதுதான் அவங்களுக்கு சேஃப்டி. ஸோ நான் வந்து ரக்கடாக இருக்கணும், I have to be 10% up, அப்போதான் வந்து my women will be attracted to meன்றது is not the case.
Okay. Now talking about children modeling parents from a very younger age, do you think, let's say they have come from an environment where the relationship between the father and mother was not very great, and their way of coping up fights was not very good. Now how do they realize that they're not supposed to follow the same? How do they even know or become aware that they're following the same traits their parents were following?
Right. It's just a very fun game. You can try this. If you take 5 qualities that you don't like in your father, and 5 qualities that you don't like in your mother. உங்க அப்பா கிட்ட பிடிக்காத 5 குவாலிட்டி உங்க பார்ட்னர் கிட்ட இருக்கும். உங்க அம்மா கிட்ட பிடிக்காத 5 குவாலிட்டி நீங்க ஃபாலோ பண்ணுவீங்க, ரைட்? And it switches up with the gender. So this is a pattern. And இது ஏன் நடக்குது அப்படின்னா, just imagine an apple tree, that is the source. Parents is our source. அதுல வர ஆப்பிள் தான் நம்ம. ஆப்பிள் மரத்துல இருந்து கீழே விழுது அப்படின்னா, it may go few feet away from the tree. கிலோமீட்டர் கணக்கா தள்ளி போகணும்னு எதிர்பார்க்கலாம், பட் that's not the case. So we cannot be so different from our parents. And 0 to 5 our subconscious is very open, so we automatically model our parents.
Okay.
So yeah.
So let's say somebody has been in a traumatic relationship in the with the previous guy or with the previous girl. Now how does their body react to the same?
Okay, trauma is not just an emotional thing. It could also impact someone physically.
Right.
For example, anxiety வருது. It could be breakups க்கு அப்புறம் பார்க்கலாம். anxiety ரொம்ப அதிகமா வரும். வயிறு சம்பந்தப்பட்ட பிரச்சனைகள் ரொம்ப அதிகமா வரும். இல்ல எனி சார்ட் ஆஃப் பெயின் அவங்களுக்கு இருக்கு. ஷோல்டர் பெயின் இருக்கு, இல்லைன்னா வந்து நீ பெயின் இருக்கு. ஆனா நான் போய் செக் பண்ணா எனக்கு டாக்டர் ஒண்ணுமே இல்லைன்னு சொல்றாங்க. இட் குட் பி ட்ராமா. So unprocessed trauma can get in your system. Psychosomatic னு சொல்லுவோம். So it is very much possible.
Because I asked this question, ஏன்னா நிறைய பேர் they come and say if there's something that's related to trauma, they believe it's something related to mind. But there's lot of physical ways of showing it out, right? Like trembling as soon as I see somebody, அதே physical characteristics இருந்தாலே they start trembling. They don't wish to go and talk to them. They believe they are also going to hurt them. Now, are there better ways of coping up with trauma? What are they supposed to do? What is like the first aid that you would wish to give people?
First and foremost, I would suggest to talk to a professional rather than friends or family.
Right.
My friend is a very good listening space and they are a very good listening space. Will they give you a unbiased opinion? Pata, it's very slim to none.
Right.
They will always support you. There will be a bias, unconscious bias இருக்கும். நீங்கள் ஒரு ப்ரொஃபஷனல் மீட் பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா they will be unbiased. Okay, this is what you are doing, this is where it's coming from, and they would never really like tell you to do something. நீங்கள் இதை பண்ணுங்க பண்ணாதீங்கன்றது கிடையவே கிடையாது. They'll help you figure it out,
Right.
which is healthy for you. So it's sort of they'll teach you fish rather than giving you the fish.
Correct.
Which will help in the longer run. So
Okay. So one popular question that I've always seen online is, can exes be friend with each other?
right, so depends. It is very subjective, right? And friend அப்படின்ற state achieve பண்றதுக்கு someone should be very emotionally matured and they have to come from a proper complete relationship with them. அந்த ஒரு proper closure கிடைச்சு and they are in a very happy relationship and that is not affecting them அப்படின்னா well and good, yes. But how much ஒரு statistically பார்த்தா I would say very less percentage of people will be able to achieve it because letting go la people have so much challenge.
Yeah, right.
என்னதான் இருந்தாலும் நீ இதை பண்ணல. So அந்த ஒரு thought வரப்போ it's so hard and sort of in the relationshipல ஒரு பிரச்சனை நடந்தாலும் this person might become a threat.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you think there is always a lot of peer pressure when it comes to relationship? Because when my friends have their own boyfriends or girlfriends, somewhere or the other, it's very natural for me to think I am not in the space yet. Is there something wrong with me? Or am I not open to relationships? Am I not looking good? There's a lot of self-doubt that also comes into the play, right? Do you think because of peer pressure, there are still somebody who would want to give it to a try even though they are not ready about it?
Right. Peer pressure is a very real thing. And peer pressure இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா I had a client recently. He was telling that என் ஏஜ்ல எல்லாருக்கும் கல்யாணம் ஆகுது. 24, 25 everyone is getting married and somewhat I feel like எனக்கும் கல்யாணம் பண்ணணும்னு தோணுது. Where is my partner? See, you have to think that it's a very big emotional investment. Emotionally, physically, financially, it's a very big investment. It's not like when peer pressure is எல்லாரும் ஐஃபோன் வச்சிருக்காங்க, எல்லாரும் கார் வச்சிருக்காங்க. It's a very emotional thing. Okay, இப்படி நம்ம யோசிச்சாலும் we'll sit with it. Am I in a space? இப்போ ஒரு 10 லட்ச ரூபா கொடுத்து கார் வாங்க முடியுமா என்னால மந்த்லி இஎம்ஐ கட்ட முடியுமா, இதெல்லாம் யோசிக்கிறோம். ஆனால் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்னு வரப்போ அந்த ப்ரெஷர் ரொம்ப அதிகமாக இருக்கு. பிகாஸ் வி கெட் அ லாட் ஆஃப் திங்ஸ் லைக் வி ஹாவ் ஒரு எமோஷ்னல் ஒரு சேஃப்டி. பீப்புள் கோ ஃபார் இட். எல்லாருக்கும் இருக்கு, எனக்கும் ஸ்டோரி போடணும், எனக்கும் வந்து கை பிடிச்சிட்டு ரீல்ஸ் பண்ணணும். திஸ் சார்ட் ஆஃப் புஷஸ் தெம். நீங்கள் ஒரு கார் வாங்குறீங்க, ஒரு ஃபோன் வாங்குறீங்க அப்படின்னா உங்களால் கேல்குலேட்டடாக நீங்கள் ஒரு டிசிஷன் எடுக்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னா ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்க்கு அதை விட இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் வேணும். It's just different sort of investment. So yeah.
இப்போ ரொம்ப let's say somebody has got into a relationship after waiting for a very long time. Do you think without knowing how to maintain that relationship they go overboard and start love bombing their partner? Because I've been waiting for like 7 or 8 years to be in a relationship. இதெல்லாத்தையும் தாண்டி I found somebody now. So the 7-8 years நான் create பண்ண space எல்லாத்தையும் சேர்த்து வச்சு now I have to show the love to my partner அப்படின்னு சொல்லி there are a lot of people I see who start love bombing. So why do you think that happens and how to deal with that?
Communication plays a major role. There's a very high chance for this to happen because நான் இத்தனை நாள் ரொம்ப நிறைய எண்ணங்கள் இருக்கும், நிறைய ஆசைகள் இருக்கும், இது எல்லாமே நான் கொண்டு போய் தரேன். இட்ஸ் லைக் you will give everything on a plate. You're feeding so much food to this person. They can only eat to their need.
Correct.
இப்போ எனக்கு 10 இட்லி சாப்பிட்டா தான் வயிறு ஃபுல் ஆகும் அப்படின்னா maybe you might eat 6 or 5. I can't give you 10. Like 10 சாப்பிடுங்க அப்பதான் உங்களுக்கு
expect me to eat that.
Exactly. So I can't think for you la. So I can ask you what is that you want, what is that you need. நான் உங்களுக்கு 10 இட்லி தரப்போ உங்களுக்கு என்ன தோணுது, உங்களுக்கு பசி எடுக்குதா? You might even feel I was hungry. 10 இட்லி பார்த்தோன்னே எனக்கு பசியே போயிடுச்சு. That could also happen. So communication plays a major role, and it is not always about what I want la. Yen need, yen want, and if I put it to you, maybe you won't like it. It's better to communicate. It's better to ask, உங்களுக்கு வேணுமா, உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருக்கா, என்ன பண்ணலாம், இல்லை எனக்கு இது பிடிச்சிருக்கு, I want to do this to you, what do you think? Sort of finding a middle ground helps here.
Correct. And also something that I commonly see nowadays is when it comes to romantic relationships, இப்போ அதை கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுங்கிறதே ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் அப்படின்ற ஒரு ரேஞ்சுக்கு வந்ததுக்கப்புறம், let's say they find out a partner for themselves. In order to retain that partner, they go to any extreme to fulfill their needs. Okay, you want me to leave my family back and come with you, I will do it for you. You want me to leave my career and come for you, I will do it for you. You want me to leave the country and come for you, okay, I will do it for you. அப்படின்னா people don't have boundaries towards what they should be doing in a relationship. எல்லாத்தையுமே they start giving up and they go to see the partner. But my fear is, after a point, won't they tell it out to them again and again, saying, I left my career for you, I left my parents for you, I left my own country for you. Appadina, don't you think they will start questioning the partner?
It is very much possible to happen. See, in the space la I see self-la avungalukku edho lack agudho. Let's take self-love, right? If I don't love myself, if I am not fulfilled with who and what I am,
correct,
I will always expect the other person to do it for me. எனக்கு ஒரு void இருக்கு அப்படின்னா அது ஏன் void? I have to get the resource, I have to figure a way to fill it. Maybe my partner could be there, emotionally support me, physically support me, be there and help me, but they can't truly fill it for me. So இந்த ஒரு ஸ்பேஸ் இருக்கிறப்போ என்ன இருந்தாலும் ஓகே, I start pleasing. I don't think of my need. And pleasing ஓட மேஜர் சேலஞ்ச் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நீங்க கேட்டிருக்கவே மாட்டீங்க, but I will do it for you.
Right.
And I will tell you, நான் இவ்வளோ பண்ணேன்ல, you will end up saying, நான் கேட்கவே இல்லையே. So this is what happens. And the person will feel even more guilty.
Correct.
But you received everything. You never said anything. So pleasing la idu start agiradhukku there is a very high chance.
Right. And one question that I have is, ippo munnadi la, let's say love started happening konjam later, but ippo children, adolescents, everybody starts to go and confess, I like you, let's be in a relationship, in however possible way they can go and confess. They start confessing. Now let's say repetitively they start facing rejection. Okay, and after a point they now feel maybe they're not worth it. Maybe they're not worth for a relationship because they've been rejected for a very long time. Or they also try to change it. Okay, are my specs a problem? Then I'll go for a LASIK. Is my body a problem? I'll go to gym, I'll transform, I'll come for you. And the Madhuri people start doing a lot of other activities for other people, not because they would like to do. But my question is, how long can they do the same for other people?
See, it's sort of an acquired taste, right? இப்போ நான் இப்படி இருக்கேன் அப்படின்னா my partner doesn't like certain qualities in me, I can find a middle ground to change it. But they don't like me completely, and I can't become someone else la.
Right.
So it is always okay to be yourself. You're very important first and foremost. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் யாராக இருந்தாலும் வராங்க. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சர்க்கிள் இஸ் யூ, and then your partner, your friends, your family, however you want to put it. If you don't exist, none of this exists.
Correct, right.
So you have to make sure to accept that it is okay to be ourselves. And if someone feels that நீங்க ஒரு கம்பேட்டபிள் பார்ட்னர் இல்லை, or someone thinks that இது மாற்றணும், இது செட் ஆகலை, and you feel okay, எனக்கும் இந்த thought இருந்தது, maybe I have to work on this, I have to work on myself, that helps. If it's affecting your core values or morals, you change it, and at the end of the day you won't feel like yourself.
Correct.
ஐயோ நான் வேற பர்சனா மாறிட்டேன்.
Correct. Very
So
true.
that never helps.
I had a client who once came and told me, I have no so her husband passed away recently. So she had come for a session and she told me, எனக்கு வீட்டில் என்ன சமைச்சு சாப்பிடணும்னு தெரியல, because every day my husband would say cook this for me. அதனால so she was somebody who was never tried mushroom baby corn அந்த மாதிரிலாம், பட் அவங்க மஷ்ரூம் பேபி கார்ன்லாம் இவருக்காக சாப்பிட ஆரம்பிச்சு. now she says, எனக்கு அன்னைக்கு அம்மா கேட்டாங்க என்ன சமைச்சு தரணும்னு, எனக்கு என்ன சொல்றதுன்னு தெரியல, எனக்கு மறந்துடுச்சு எனக்கு என்ன பிடிக்கும்னு அப்படின்னு சொல்லப்போ, you know, as a counselor, I also felt a little bit bad of how people take relationships. And நிறைய relationships, if you go and see, there are people who don't even realize they are in a toxic relationship. They've normalized it in quite some areas, that they feel, okay, I've got married to somebody, I have to be with this person for the rest of my life, or I have to be with this person because I've got a child. Abdina, people start normalizing it to a way wherein they don't even realize, oh, am I in a bad marriage? Only when you go and talk to them, maybe when they realize also, they feel very helpless, they don't know how to come out of it. But why do you think people are quite lost when it comes to being in an unhappy marriage? Why don't you think people have the courage to come out of it?
Okay, first and foremost, they think that's what they deserve. எனக்கு இவ்வளவுதான் போல, எனக்கு இதை விட எனக்கு பெருசா கிடைக்காது, இதுவும் கிடைக்கலனா what if I walk out, at least எனக்கு இந்த பர்சன் என்ன கேர் பண்றாங்க, மேபி there is abuse, maybe there is, you know, lot of toxicity that is happening, but I know they care பண்றதுனால எல்லாம் பண்றாங்க. What if you find a partner who helps you fix all this, who sort of treats you well, and they won't even think about it, எனக்குலாம் கிடைக்க மாட்டாங்க, ஒருவேளை கிடைக்கலனா. So they operate from this space. Correct. And as you said, like, I changed so much for my partner, right? It is always better to operate from a space of I take care of myself, you take care of yourself, we'll be there for each other. When you are unable to, I'll help you.
Right.
நான் உன்னை பார்த்துக்கிறேன், நீ என்ன பார்த்துக்கோ அப்படின்னா, then it's never settles la, because 25 years or 30 years, you know, I've been alone or I've been myself. I'm meeting someone who's 25 years or 30 years, they've come from a different setting, they've been themselves. Different family setting, different birth order, எல்லாமே different, and different life experience. ரெண்டு பேரும் ஒரே வீட்ல போட்டு you have to be together. Okay. And you have to, you know, be compatible. Yeah. There is so much of conflict that will happen, and there will be so much of challenge that happens. You have to find a middle ground. Middle ground kandu pudikkanona, seri, okay, I'll first fix myself, you fix yourself, I'll be there for you. We'll do it together. We're a team. அப்படின்னா மட்டும்தான் இதில் ஒர்க் பண்ண முடியுமே தவிர, நீ மாறு நான் மாற மாட்டேன், இல்லை நீ மாறினா நான் மாறுவேன், this never helps.
Okay. So recently I went to a corporate training wherein one of the employees there came to me and he said, in the mind there's this person here in this office, we both are very good friends, but he's in a very toxic relationship. No matter how much I say, he doesn't want to come out of it. How do I make him understand that whatever relationship that he is in is quite very unhealthy? Abdinu solli he asked me this question. So can you help people understand how does it look like when you are in a healthy relationship, and how does it look like when you are in an unhealthy one?
When you feel safe enough to be yourself, it's a healthy relationship. நான் உங்ககிட்ட பேசலாமா, இந்த டைமுக்கு மேலே நான் போகக்கூடாதா, நான் இது சாப்பிடக்கூடாது, இது எல்லாமே see you are an individual, right? You are your own self. 25 years 30 years 35 years I've had my own life. எங்க அப்பா கூட என்ன கேட்டதில்லை, எங்க அம்மா கூட கேட்டதில்லை, my brother never questioned me. இப்போ இந்த பர்சன் question பண்றாங்க ஏன்னா my partner, I have to change. Not necessarily. Correct. You have to be comfortable with your own self. You have your own life, right? You just can't like I'll completely change, I'll stop everything, I'll cut everything off. Right. That doesn't help. You'll feel lonely at the end of the day.
Very true.
எல்லாமே இந்த ஒரு பர்சன் ஆயிடுவாங்க. I saw this beautiful quote on Instagram. You're a planet in my solar system. And there's like many universe that is there. நீ மட்டும்தான் என் யூனிவர்ஸ் அப்படின்னு வச்சா இட்ஸ் நாட் யூனோ yeah you're not the only thing, there's much more things happening.
Correct.
So yeah.
So recently I came up with this information that said Delhi University has started creating syllabus on how to deal with romantic relationships, which is very much essential, right? Because all of our schools have got life skills, moral science, different other subjects, but none of us for some reason don't talk about relationships as such. But that is very, very important, right? End of the day, you are going to have a relationship with somebody, and rather being in a zone where you are completely clueless of what to do with it, you might have some knowledge about it so that you are quite confident in that relationship. So do you think syllabus like this is required for all of us in colleges or in schools?
It is very much required. Parenting ஆ இருக்கட்டும், dating ஆ இருக்கட்டும், or everything is very much required. நம்ம ஊர்ல physical health is very very important. Sex edன்றது இப்போ மேபி ஒரு half a decadeல தான் வெளியே வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. When I was in school, my science teacher would skip it. Or when the boys are laughing, they'll say, I'll walk out. So this was the case. And ippo they are giving importance to it. Very similarly, mental health post-COVID, it is booming very good, which I'm happy about. And it is very much important to bring this concept in teenage. Because teenage is the time where there's a lot of hormonal change and there's a lot of physical change that is happening. And everyone ஸ்கூல்ல சொல்றாங்க, வீட்டில் சொல்றாங்க, நீ பெரிய பொண்ணாயிட்ட, நீ பெரிய பையன் ஆயிட்ட, you have to be safe, you have to do all this. It's 13 or 14-year-old child. They want to be a child. They are saying நீ பெரிய பையன், நீ பெரிய பொண்ணு. They are not supposed to get a tattoo, ஓட் போட முடியாது. They are not supposed to drink or smoke or தனியா எங்கேயும் போகக்கூடாது. ஆனா பெரிய பையன், பெரிய பொண்ணு. So there is this conflict with them. So they start off அதுவே ஒரு ரிபலிங்க்கு சான்ஸாக இருக்குமோன்றது சம்டைம்ஸ் ஐ திங்க். பிகாஸ் நீங்களே என்ன பெரிய பையன்றீங்க, பெரிய பொண்ணுன்றீங்க, பட் நான் ஒரு டிசிஷன் எடுக்க முடியாது. டீன் ஆர் பீப்புள் ஹூ திங்க் தே ஆர் அன் அடல்ட் ஆர் ஹூ திங்க் they think like an adult. So it's a very complicated state they are put in. So these sort of things will help them to regulate it. சரி, ஓகே, எனக்கு வர்றது ஃபீலிங்ஸ், எனக்கு ஹார்மோன்ஸ் இருக்கு, இந்த டைம்ல இது ஆகும், it is okay to catch feelings, it is okay to be in a relationship, what is safety, what is consent, இது எல்லாமே நம்ம சொல்லி கொடுத்தா மட்டும்தான் உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். உனக்கு தெரியணும், நீ பெரிய பையன் பெரிய பொண்ணுன்றதுனால they wouldn't get it. So I would highly support that to happen.
Yeah, but when you're talking about relationships, you sound very wise, right? So does it apply to your own relationship as well, or do you think that ஏதாவது ஒரு ஃபேக்டர்ல சைக்காலஜிஸ்டா இருக்கிறதுனால I'm able to handle with this, or சைக்காலஜிஸ்டா இருக்கிறதுனால I'm not able to handle with this அப்படின்ற மாதிரி has there been any situation where you felt this way?
Okay, சைக்காலஜிஸ்டா இருக்கிறதுனால I'm handling my relationship is true. Is not because of the theories or is not because of my background. It is because I am working on myself. Self work nu onnu irukku. Even though I am a therapist, I go for therapy. Right. I take my materials to therapy. Right. Is one. And secondly, awareness is also there. In the field la irukkiradanaala awareness endradhu onnu varudhu. So okay, communication na adha, man psychology na adha, women psychology na adha. So this helps. So because I am into this field, it has a good impact. I would say yes. இல்லைன்னா நம்ம முட்டி மோதி தான் வரும். மோஸ்ட் ப்ராபப்லி ஐ வுட் ஹவ் மாடல் மை ஃபாதர், ஐ வுட் மாடல் மை மதர். இதுதான் நடக்குமே தவிர. அண்ட் கம்யூனிகேஷன் பிளேஸ் அ மேஜர் ரோல். I advocate my clients to, it is okay to feel, it is okay to share. And it is as a ஒரு ஸ்டிக்மா இருக்குல்ல, நீ அழக்கூடாது, நீ எதுவும் ஷேர் பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஸோ சைக்காலஜி ஃபீல்டில் இருக்கிறதுனால ஐ வுட் சே இட் ஹெல்ப்ஸ். ஸோ
ரைட். ஸோ ஒரு சைக்காலஜிஸ்டா வாட் யூ திங்க் இஸ் ஒன் ரெட் ஃப்ளாக், வாட் யூ திங்க் இஸ் ஒன் க்ரீன் ஃப்ளாக் இன் அ ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்?
நாட் கம்யூனிகேட்டிங். பீப்புள் திங்க் தட் ஏதாச்சும் ஒரு பிரச்சனை இருக்கு, நம்ம அந்த பிரச்சனையை பேசாமல் வில் ஜஸ்ட் கீப் இட், சரியாயிடும். சரியே ஆகாது. ஸோ தட் இஸ் அ ரெட் ஃப்ளாக். And green flag is being open to listen. Whatever it is, ஒரு பிரச்சனையவே இருக்கு, அதை என்கிட்ட சொல்றாங்க அப்படின்னா சரி நான் கேட்குறேன், யூ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டெல் மீ. இந்த லிசனிங்கே கம்மியாக இருக்கு. அப்போ நீ என்ன தப்புன்னு சொல்றியா? As soon as complaint வருதுன்னா உடனே they get defensive. நான் உனக்கு எவ்வளோ பண்ணியிருக்கேன் தெரியுமா? எஸ், இது எல்லாமே இருக்கு, யாருமே டிஸ்கவுண்ட் பண்ண மாட்டுறாங்க. இதெல்லாம் இருந்தாலும் there are certain challenges that the opposite person thinks or feels. and when they are putting it out to you, you have to listen. And ஒரு பிரச்சனைன்னு சொல்றப்போ இல்ல நான் அப்படி கிடையாது, நான் உனக்கு என்னெல்லாம் பண்ணேன்னு தெரியுமா, when you get defensive, sort of ஒரு ego got triggered. Everyone has ego. It is, you know, sort of ஒரு safety for us. You have to let it go. You have to sit with yourself. Cherry, okay, let me listen. If not, it never, you know, really helps you to understand what the other person thinks.
Very true. After quite some days, I feel a bit proud about myself for choosing you for this topic. Not boasting, but when it comes to giving content or education, relatability is something that everybody would expect, right? I think that was too much there in this podcast. I think people would be able to relate to a lot of stuff, not because they're going through, but because you made it very, very simple for them to understand. Lot of beautiful this Apple examples. I'm sure I'm going to give it 1,000 places.
Right.
So I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of, I would say it's just like, revisiting my own knowledge once again. So it was great. So thank you so much. Thank you for accepting the invite, being here. I hope it will be informative for a lot of other people. Thank you.
Thank you for having, and I had a very wonderful time talking to you. So it's more of this is professional yet or personal of thing that happened. I'm pretty sure the audience will be able to connect to things, and yes, we have to do this more.
Yeah, we should. Thank you so much.
Thank you.